cook something to eat then because she falls asleep and started.
Kia ora everyone, welcome to our Community Wellbeing meeting for Wednesday the 12th of March. It's already nearly one quarter through the year. Very warm welcome to you, and if you could please, we could begin our meeting with our normal karakia, which is on page 3 of your agenda if you're not familiar with it. Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia mā, kina kia, kia te, kia mātara te kitai, e he aki ana te atakura, hei tio, hei huka, hei huhu, te hei momo yoro. Thank you, welcome. Look, today is the first time that we have officially live streamed the Community Wellbeing Committee meeting, so just in case there are members of the public or obviously other people who can't attend today who want to come back and watch this later on, they're able to do so, but this is a public meeting anyway, and we welcome members of the public to the chamber, so no difference for us live streaming it. We've been live streaming our meetings for the last few years now. It's no big deal. You soon don't take any notice of it, to be honest. The only requirement is obviously for people online to be able to hear us, you need to have your microphones on. So the right-hand button of those machines in front of you is the button to push when you wish to speak. When it shows red, that's when you're on. If it shows green, you're in the line. Mine will generally be on all the time, but anyone else's will be and we'll try and make it as easy as possible, obviously. But they can't hear us if they're not on, basically, is what we're saying. So we've got a pretty full agenda, and look, I know some of you need to leave early, and just acknowledge your attendance anyway, and thank you for turning up as you have done. It's good to see so many. And I know there are some new faces here today, so can we just spend 2 minutes just quickly doing a round table and introducing ourselves. Thank you, Angela. I'll just take your sign away.
Morena koutou, ko Angela Rannam, taku ingoa. I'm Te Pai Haora o Rohini o Tararua, or Health New Zealand Central.
Morena koutou, ko Michael Fletcher, taku ingoa. I'm the lead advisor for the Regional Public Service for the Manawatu Wanganui area, which is the Horizons Regional Council area.
Hello, I'm Layal, and I'm here for the Access meeting.
Kia ora koutou, ko Michelle Rogerson taku ingoa. I'm the manager at Living Uniting Church and Community Centre, and I'm here to support Leo on behalf of the Access and Inclusion meeting.
Ata Maria koutou, ko Amajit Maxwell Ho, Chief Executive Think Hauora.
Kia ora koutou katoa, ko Quinton Paul Mwike Lufau tuku ingoa. I'm a youth mentor at Life to the Max, also a youth leader at Encounter Living.
Ata Maria koutou, ko Sharon Williams toku ingoa. I'm Sharon Williams, a community innovation navigator in Shannon with Hapai to Hapari, and alongside Quinton with the representatives for the Youth Services Network.
Tēnā tātou katoa, ko Jordan King tōku ingoa, he kaimahi mō Moe Puku Tribal Authority. Kia ora.
Mauri ora ki te whare, kia ora koutou, ngā mahi nui ki a koutou, ko Tracy White tuku ingoa, he kaimahi o te whatuora hauora Māori, me mema o Puari o Moe Puku Tribal Authority. Kia ora.
Morena, my name is Lynette Jones. I'm a representative from the OPN, the Older Persons Network.
Good morning, Sue Carson from MSD. I look after the seniors, the over 65 group. Thanks.
Morena koutou, ko Jackie Moynihan tōku ingoa. I am the site manager for Oranga Tamariki ki Horowhenua.
Kia ora koutou, Shirley Johnson, Community Development Lead for Horowhenua District Council.
Morena koutou, ko Grant Congdon tōku ingoa, ko te tumuaki ahau ki te karati o Horowhenua. Grant Congdon, Principal at Horowhenua College. Morena.
Morena koutou, ko Julie Bickett tōku ingoa. I work for Health New Zealand Whatuora as a health promotion advisor, smoke-free and vape-free, and I'm also a smoke-free enforcement officer in the regulation team. Thank you. Kia ora.
Kia ora koutou, ko Josephine tōku ingoa, ko Toitu te whenua tōku mahi. I'm a health promoter for the Kansas City Manawatu. Kia ora.
Good morning, I'm Clint Grimstone. I'm the HDC councillor for Livermore.
Morena koutou, ko Paul Millen tōku ingoa. I'm the Regional Commissioner Advisor at the Ministry of Social Development.
Atamare, Maggie Regan from Internal Affairs based in Palmy, but look after the Horowhenua area as well. Kia ora.
Good morning, I'm Emma Gowan. I'm a Community Development Advisor here at Horowhenua District Council.
So, morena tātou, I'm Ethan Pollock. I work for Sport 102, being the community connector the last couple of years and now moving into as an advisor in the healthy active learning space. That's me.
Kia ora koutou, ko Kali Turu Whenua Tapsel tōku ingoa, he uri ahau no Ngāti Rongo mai wahere me Ngā Tūhoi. I'm one of the general managers at Sport Manawatu.
Morena, I'm Mark Hammond. I am the Community Facilities and Services Manager here at Horowhenua District Council.
Kia ora everyone, me Bernie, and great to have you all here. Sorry, Alice, just introduce yourself, please. Yes.
Hi, I am Alice and I'm the Democracy Support Officer here at Horowhenua District Council.
So as you see, there's quite a team that actually support me and, provide all the stuff that I need to make sure that we can do this. We just need to get through a couple of procedural things. We do have apologies this morning from Rehana Adlam, Patrick Grinnell, Patricia Jacobs, Yumioku Oliver, Rebecca Kinlock and Sam Ferguson. And we have a couple of people online. Would you like to introduce yourselves too, please? Nina, do you want to start?
Mauri ora ki te whare, ko Nina Hori te whare tōku ingoa, Horowhenua District Councillor, Māori Ward.
Ngā hua te ata, ke koutou katoa, atu I kawakau I tēnei ata. Ko rawani ani ko ra Townsend tōku ingoa. Ko te kaiwhakahaere raumi me te rangatira tuarua ki tōku manukura. My name's Rawani ani ko ra Townsend. I am the Operations Manager at Oko Whānau Ora and 2IC to the Chief Executive. Kia ora.
Kia ora and welcome, Winia. Nice to have you with us. Thank you. Just for someone who was at our meeting in the 6th of November, can you confirm the minutes are a true and correct record, please? Yes. Thank you. I'll move those. Thank you. Look, we do have a couple of presentations, but I am conscious that there are some people who want to leave early because of other commitments that they have. So I just want to, we're going to change the agenda around slightly and we're going to look at the network report and the dashboard and the monitoring report first up. So there's anything there that will, that everybody's can contribute to. So let's move to the Community Wellbeing Network report on page 7 of our agenda, and just move that report be received and noted. This is mainly for the different sort of committees that we have within council to be able to, if you like, feed into this community wellbeing. So we do have youth services, older persons network, access and inclusion, and education, Horowhenua, who will all have representatives at this meeting as well, but we have separate meetings for those that we can discuss primarily the issues and things that affect those sectors of our community. So, youth services, who's doing that one?
Oh, kia ora whakauta. So just elaborate.
Thanks, Sharon.
On page 8, where you've got updates from the meeting from the 13th of February, on the second point there around increased collaboration, also Horowhenua District Council agreed to host a hui in the next few months for the purpose of all youth-facing organisations to talk about who they are and what they do. And we're looking for a partner to support in that event. Do you want to read that one?
The Youth Voice.
Yeah.
Hi. So Youth Voice is run from Laura Fisher, and so we're looking at trying to outreach just to add to the group a bit more diversity with our rangatau, just so we're getting different opinions and different perspectives. So that has been something that we've been working towards for the last couple of weeks, and we had I think it was the hui last night, yesterday at 3:30. So that was the first one, and I believe that we are seeing good numbers. I wasn't able to attend, but just to know that there are more people that are aware of it, especially coming from our rangatau's perspective, that their voice does matter. And where are we going on to now?
Yep.
Okay, that's it.
Kia ora, thank you.
Sure.
I actually chair the older person network as well, and it's principally a forum for a whole lot of different organisations and groups that deal mainly with the older people in our community, and for them to be able to feed in and raise issues that they have. We've identified already that one of the major issues that we have with older people is social isolation. There are a lot of people who live by themselves and don't connect well with the rest of the community. How we actually deal with that, we're not quite sure, but a lot of it is about ensuring that we spread the word, make sure the network is working well together, and to try and bring these people a little bit more out into our community so that they can understand. People like Age Concern and all those sorts of agencies are instrumental in allowing us to do that. But it's it is a bit of a talk fest, that one, because it is about understanding the issues that they have got and trying to do something about it. Anyway, that's cool. Thank you. Now, would you like to talk about access and inclusion, please?
Background that the network has had a focus on sharing information about what's happening in the disability sector, and last year delivered several events for people under 35 living with disabilities, as well as an annual Disability Day event. While these initiatives have proven value, the network has agreed to widen its lens to be a platform that has a key focus on advocating for an inclusive environment and promoting equitable treatment for all. At the first meeting this year, the forum workshopped two things. One, what are the priorities that the group will focus on in 2020 2025. 2. And who should be at the table to represent their groups and be part of developing a plan of action to get some outcomes for the priorities. The network agreed on 5 priorities to advocate for safe and inclusive transport access by developing and improving targeted and cost-effective solutions. We will advocate for safe and inclusive access to all HDC amenities, services and community spaces, including recreation centres and beach access. We will amplify the voices of our marginalised communities. We will promote an inclusive, diverse and sustainable workforce. We will advocate for enhancing digital access. While the group had a preliminary conversation about what other organisations need to be included in the forum, at the next Hui, the group will revisit this as well as starting to flesh out what the priorities and the actions could be. Yeah.
You're becoming a pro, like, fantastic. Maybe someone could ease the challenging words for you a little bit better, write it in some words that you'll recognise a lot easier. But thank you for that. That's brilliant. Cheers. Education Horowhenua, who's going to do this, Grant? Clint? Don't look at each other like that. You win. So, certainly discussions around the increasing NEAT trend and what some of the drivers around that were. We had discussions regarding the continued ability to partner with businesses to explore providing opportunities. There was a continued discussion around the issues with attendance at schools and discussions around the actions that the schools are taking to try and work through those multiple layers of issues that address that. Good progress or steps forward in the Te Tumakanga project as well, in terms of very close to securing a staff member to do some of the initial heavy lifting to set the platform for future funding requests and eventual delivery of that service as well. And that was pretty much the February meeting, on top of what's already captured in the agenda, which bullet points the November meeting as well. Thank you, Clint. Cheers. Thank you. Okay, that's great. Appreciate those inputs, and we will now move to the dashboard, which is, I assume Mark and Emma are going to talk to. Do you want to introduce it? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bennion, through you. This is our second dashboard. We got some great feedback from the first dashboard last year, and we've continued on with some of our different quadrants, different areas. You'll be able to see some trends, I guess, or data that we have continued reporting on because we got some good feedback around it. I suppose I just want to highlight a couple of things before I hand over to Emma to just give some highlights regarding the dashboard. Mindful that the data that we get is we've been working really closely with some of our agency partners, but also some of it we get from a global source, as in the national data that we can get off agency or government websites. So it's the best data that we have at the time of producing the dashboard. I also just want to highlight that we've indicated here today around the ED presentations in the health and wellbeing section. The reason that's there is because the committee showed an interest in that at our last hui, in our last meeting, and so if we get that feedback, we're happy to go away and actually start looking at some of that data so the committee actually have some ownership, I guess, of what that dashboard looks like. And just finally, I'm mindful that the committee was sent from Rob Bennyfield some information around methamphetamine use, findings in our water and our wastewater. Some troubling data there in terms of a spike more recently. My suggestion to you, Your Worship, and to the committee is that as officers we can go away and actually look into that a little bit more, maybe have a conversation with the police, and then in our next meeting, in our next dashboard, happy to help present some more information about that and might be able to flesh down a little bit more. Just want to highlight that, but I'm happy to hand to Emma, who might want to just highlight some of the key things.
The answer to that question is yes. And let's just get on with it and see what more we can find out, the better. Thanks, Emma.
Okay, so just some key areas to report on the dashboard. So since the last dashboard in November, there's been a small decrease in the number of families on the housing register by 9. Emergency housing special need grants have seen a significant change, and from what we know, this is due to the change in criteria at MSD, and that saw a reduction of 76,000 in total grants awarded being reduced. The number on the housing register, I believe since we did this report, the numbers have come down because MSD obviously get more live data than what we do. So I wonder if through you, Mayor Burney, I wonder if MSD have anything that they wish to add to the housing report.
Emma.
Yes, that is official data. What I could tell you is currently we are down to 2 people in emergency housing, or 2 whānau. But I think it's important to add that there are other factors into the reason for those declining. There has been the kind of order properties, which were a number of 1-bedroom properties that would have actually supported that. We are putting other people into transitional housing and other social housing options. So I think it's important to understand that there's other aspects in play. But that's probably an update around where we are currently. I would expect by the end of March, for the next dashboard, the number will be similar because we're getting to a point where we're getting people that have very specific, challenging needs that we need to work with in order to move them forward.
Thanks, Paul. Sure.
Is it possible to find out the reasons why? Because those declines, 42, there's got to be a reason for that. It just doesn't happen overnight. Is there a reason because people have left the area or they've found alternative housing, things like that? Is it possible to record the reasons?
Sorry, Paulie from MSD again. Look, we do capture information on people that did receive emergency housing grants and where they've gone. I don't know what it is regionally for Horowhenua, but I think nationally 80% of them go to either a private rental or some other stable sort of housing environment. The other 20% we're not sure about, but that's national. I don't know what it looks like here. I could maybe go away and see whether I can find what that looks like for Horowhenua, but I don't have that available right now.
I think, yeah, so you might be able to add a little bit to that.
So we've had the second lot of Himawa open up, and now Mackenzie Street, that's fully booked. So if they're in emergency housing, they work with a case manager too, and then they're offered transitional housing, which they don't really have an option. They have to take one of the properties offered to them. So we're trying to push people out of emergency housing and get them to stand on their own 2 feet. And from transitional, then they'll move to social housing. So with those 2 lots of properties opening up, that's decreased quite a bit in the Levin area. Yeah.
And some of the information, we're pretty fortunate here in the Horowhenua that we've had those additions of that sort of social housing and kaingoa housing. It has made a significant difference in the last 6 months or so. So while, it's quite a big change, there has been some, in addition, it's about supply. So if you can build more houses and put them all on the ground, that means there's more opportunity for those that are in emergency housing or transitional housing to find somewhere to go. And yeah, I know it's an ongoing challenge, Sue, but thank you. Thanks, Paul. Emma, anything further?
Yes, so our local beneficiary numbers, they increased 3.5% since the last dashboard and 4.7% nationally. Given some of the challenges that we're seeing and hearing through our networks in our community, we expect those numbers to keep increasing. Education, mandatory attendance reporting has now started at the beginning of the year. However, our data was already good for Horowhenua area, with 96% of schools already providing that data. As part of my role, I'm also on the Horowhenua Former Refugee Support Committee, and at our recent meeting we identified attendance as a key priority to work on during the year. So Sarah Kian, who works for the Ministry of Education, is also on our committee, has already reached out to the schools and the principals of our areas of concern and is working with them on that. Our NEET numbers increased since the last dashboard by 14.3%, which is quite high, meaning that 863 NEETs are unable to find employment or education opportunities. This also places our district among the bottom 7 territorials authorities in New Zealand. So we've got some work to do there. The data that most interested me and got me excited this time around was the ED numbers. So every month our residents make up between 35 and 40% of ED admissions to Palmerston North during the last year, and by far our biggest demographic there is our 55 years and over, making up 71%. Our highest ED numbers also come from our eastern side of Levin, representing 940 admissions. So that's that side of Levin. And I will circulate the full report following the meeting because I couldn't fit all of the great data on the dashboard. So I'll send that out following the meeting. But I just want to say thank you to Angela for setting up with the data team at Te Whatu Ora for providing the data for us, and we'll get that on a quarterly basis now.
Angela, can I just thank you for this information. I wonder, do you have a sense though of those admissions are outside the normal business day? Are all these people turning up post 5 o'clock at night, or are they because they don't have access to other health services? Because it would be, that sort of signals to me that we close down at 5 o'clock and there's nothing available for them here.
I didn't actually bring a copy of the full report, but Emma, I think it does have the time of day on it, doesn't it? The time of presentations? I'm pretty sure from gives a I can.
We do have data of how long they're spending waiting in ED and how long they're being triaged. I don't know if that's helpful. But but the team that Angela put me onto are very helpful, and I'm sure they can provide that information.
What I'm curious about is the fact whether because of the lack of availability of health services here, that they're all then going to ED to present themselves, and whether that's because they can't get into health services here, or it's after hours, and so that's their go-to place. I just raise it. It's
yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting quite a few queries about the fact that they have to leave here to go up there, so there's 30 minutes. Somebody's bleeding all over the car, and then they get up to ED, and then they're made to wait. And that's a big issue for the elderly.
Yeah, I don't think it matters where you are in the country. That is a problem, and I would suggest that we're probably better off than a lot of people places around the country. Like, it's a challenge right through the service. Tracy, sorry, just use your mic, please, Tracy. We do have people online.
Kia ora. We'll be able to speak to a bit of this, Bernie, being the lead of the Horo Whenua Takiwā. Yes, you're quite right. We can look at those stats, but we can get better stats. We do run telehealth here, which is equally keeping Māori out of the ED, but that equally has to be referred to when required, when you can't do anything over the phone. But we will ask our Takiwā manager to give us an update for the next hui, so it gives us more of a drill down. When we look at the presentations, out of the 628 Māori, that would be at least 40% because they actually can't get to ED. But nā mahi, kia ora.
Thanks for that, Tracy. And you'll liaise with Emma in terms of some of those numbers. That'd be great. Thank you.
Sorry, can I just...
the
sure.
sure.
Stats in that report are purely for hospital and specialist services, so just the hospital stats. So, yeah, the expansion to the wider health will be awesome.
All right. Sorry, Sue.
Sorry. I've heard a couple of reports too, and I don't know if it's the same person who's driven themselves to Otaki to get a free ambulance call out to go to Wellington Hospital, so they're not paying the $98. Is there any way we can get information of people in this region going to Wellington instead of Palmy?
Oh, I doubt it. We can try. Yeah.
Then that's something we can also look at the data. I'll take that back as an action in terms of the flow and see if we can drill down and
Anything further, Emma, or you?
Yeah. This time around, under our growth in population, I decided to look at our population by age. It's no surprises that for Levin and Foxton, our oldest demographic was in our 55 to 69 year age group. However, Shannon's highest population was young tamariki aged 5 to 14 years. So it's been really good to for our council strategy team to engage with the Shannon tamariki for the Shannon community plan, and the young children there have completed 115 activity sheets to input into that strategy, which is really a neat process. Under our community safety, our all crimes, there was little to no change on all of those categories except robbery, which saw just a small increase of 5 incidents. And of concern is the rise in violent crime here in the district after it had dropped to an all-time low in Q2 of 2004. It's now on a steady increase.
Cool. Any questions from anyone around any of that data? All right. Thank you. We obviously need a bit of an acronym sort of, or an abbreviation index or something that tells us some of what these things are. Like, I know you're probably, you're familiar with them, but I'd imagine some of us aren't quite as familiar with some of these abbreviations and acronyms and while if you study it, you can work out that EHSNG means emergency housing type of stuff. Probably just help. Anyway, just a small thing. All right, let's. But thank you for that. This is great. Seeing those trends, and as I've said before, this won't be the same each quarter. And if you've got anything that you wish to highlight or add to this dashboard, then we would welcome any more data that we can get, because it does inform us, as you've just heard, the Shannon community, the focus on the young age group with the community plan being done at the moment is really critical to that strategy. So, cool, thank you. Okay, let's move then to the monitoring report, which is on page 17 of our agenda. And Mark, again, are you introducing this to us? Thank you.
Just very briefly, Your Worship. And I know Emma's got some highlights at the last meeting. I suppose what I'd start by saying is this is a sense of a bit of a feel-good report, if I'm honest, because it tells a really nice story of some really great things happening in our community, both community-led, but also some council initiatives as well. And some really nice stories in there if you read through it. I know Emma has, at the last committee meeting, I think there was some commentary around wanting to see some pictures or some evidence of some of the stuff happening in the community. Remembering as well that the purpose of this report is the committee holding us to account on the delivery of the community wellbeing strategy. And so I'll just quickly ask Emma to just show some of those pictures so that you can see, and then I'll hand it back to you, Your Worship.
I would like to take my report as read, but as you can see from the report, a lot of work has been happening and we have achieved quite a lot of actions on the action list already. Our aim is to have all Year 1 actions completed by the end of the financial year. But I did want to show you a couple of key highlights that as a council we've achieved, and also our community. So under our culture, we've delivered and supported a number of vibrant events in the last 4 months. We had the Diwali Festival on the 23rd of November, the Beats of Nations Multicultural Festival on the 30th of November. This is an event that we hope to grow in the future years, and it was great to see our Christmas parade and carnival back this year, with the addition of the carnival held at the Domain. Myself and the website team are working on updating our centralised directory. It hasn't been updated for quite some time. This picture shows the back end of the system where our community and businesses will be able to come and add their business listing or their community listing. A great new feature of this will also be they can submit their events. At the moment, our website only has our kind of council-led events, but they'll be able to make a submission to put their community events up here for everybody to go along to. And the issue with the current directory is that we could only do like a business directory or a community listing. Under this new directory, we'll be able to point people to the right service that they require. So we've added a lot more categories. We'll be able to point people to if they need youth services or aged care support, disability support services. So people will be able to much more target the help that they need. And we're on track to have this completed by the middle of May. So hopefully by the time our next meeting we will have launched it. As mentioned in the report, an exciting new initiative was launched before Christmas, providing free virtual GP appointments. This is led by the promotion of this initiative is led by Council under the Takiwai contract, and this shows our advertising for those things on the big screen and at our libraries and aquatics. The information for the service has also been translated into Spanish, Kiribati, Samoan and Tongan to help all of our community, which is really great, and I believe they've had great take-up from this free service. And a sense of place and belonging, our events team continue to do pop-up eats, but during the summer they've branched out to our different regions. The picture on the right is at Tokomaru, and for this one they also had held an outdoor movie night, and at the Foxton event that they had, they took the play trailer with them. So if you're not familiar with the play trailer, it's a trailer full of sporting equipment that community groups can use for free from our aquatic centre. So they took that out there, and the kids all got to play with the equipment with their families. Housing. These pictures are of the 18 new community housing that opened on Mackenzie Street, and they celebrated the opening of this with a community viewing day. And the home, as you can see, features a community garden and picnic area, so that will be really good for the families there. And I believe Mayor Bernie, you were there to help open it. And under our environment, community resilience and preparedness, we've held 2 training sessions recently. Our Shannon Community Civil Defence and Emergency Response Group, they participated in an emergency management exercise. These exercises are designed to practice the different roles that are assigned to us during a civil emergency, and to help us work together on providing a coordinated approach to emergency management that keeps our community safe. And also we had a group of students come from Manukau School to come and learn about emergency management as well. So good to start teaching these things at a young age. And they also did a little brainstorm of what they needed to put in their emergency kits. And under community safety, on the 16th of February, I organised a beach day for our former refugee community, and we headed out to the beach, and they had a beach safety lesson from our contracted services at Wairere Surf Lifesaving and our beach wardens, and they learnt about not only water safety, but if they're driving on the beach, the rules for that, and also got the guidelines on fishing. They had a great day out there, and then following the day, the beach wardens had given us all the rules, so they still translated into Spanish and sent out as a follow-up after the day, so that translation didn't get missed. So hopefully they're all going to be safe at the beach now. That's it.
I should probably just, Mayor Bernie, through you, if I may, the work around the Takiwai, I just want to acknowledge our iwi and hapu partners in terms of the work that's happening there. We've got a piece of work where we help promote and push it out into the community and make it as accessible as possible, but really want to acknowledge the mahi that is happening in that space to allow us to actually promote those services. So I acknowledge that you're at the table. I just wanted to say thank you. Ngā mihi.
Anybody got any questions that they would like to ask about the monitoring report and what's on it or not on it or progress? Sharon.
Yeah, can I just ask a question around, you said there'd been a higher uptake of the virtual appointments with the translation into the 5 other languages. Is there a plan to translate it into further languages? And I guess I'm thinking Spanish, Portuguese, because we know there's tens of languages in the community, to help enhance that uptake.
No, yes, there is, Shaz. Presently, the iwi is in partnership with our former refugees, and equally alongside Red Cross. So when the need arises, we have the translation, so we can do that through our Takiwa Practice Plus online. It's ever evolving and growing, obviously it needs to, and you can see Simeon talk a lot about telehealth, but absolutely nothing will ever be a barrier. Just give us an old sing out and we'll be able to help you. Ngā mihi.
Thanks, Tracy. All good? All right. Okay, thank you. Some really good progress made there. And each month, couple of months, council also get what we call an organisational performance report, which is often 100, 150 pages long. This is a very condensed version of what is going on in the community wellbeing space. But if you ever want to find out what council does, have a look at the organisation performance report, because it does list everything, warts and all, in terms of what is going on. And there's a fantastic, that's a snapshot of the many good things that are going on in the community and stuff. So I appreciate everybody's input into those. Thank you. All right. We're going to go back now to hear our first presentation, which is... Who's going to go first? Right. Te Wharaora with the smoke and vape free.
Just check if we got the presentation.
Yeah, it's just at the start of the thing, so you'll just need to go back to go forward. I didn't know that.
So welcome, team. Thank you. Yep, the right-hand one. Thank you. Cheers.
Kia ora, ko Julie Beckett tōku ingoa. Excuse me.
Kia ora, ko Josephine Tuku Ingoa, Campsite Manawatu.
Health New Zealand Te Whatuora, based at Mid Central Pubs North. So, the context around vaping in Aotearoa. So, vaping took off in Aotearoa in about 2017. Vaping companies heavily marketed vapes to youth, and which resembled early days of tobacco marketing. Some of the colours were the same, the kōrero around it, the language. You might remember getting these big glossy magazine things in your mailbox a few years ago before regulation came in, advertising the vapes. And it wasn't until 2020 before regulations came in to address vaping and the control over vape marketing and the retailers. So in 2020, there was an introduction of specialist vape retailers, which we call them SVRs, and they're vape shops that can sell any flavour. And I think you've got Pueblos here, Pueblos, live in. Throughout the country, there's Shusha, so they're standalone vape shops, and often big, glossy looking, things that are attractive to youth. So 2020's also seen all indoor workplaces, including bars and restaurants, to be vape free, as well as originally, already smoke free, and prohibiting most marketing of vaping products other than at the point of sale in specialist vape retailers. Yeah. So, as you'll see from the chart, and it's a bit blurry, sorry about that. Since 2021, 18 to 24-year-olds have had the highest prevalence of vaping. Daily vaping in this age group increased to 26.5% in 23-24, representing an estimated 119,000 people and around a quarter of all people who vape daily. Next highest prevalence was 16.3 among 25 to 34-year-olds. Among 15 to 17-year-olds, daily vaping increased to a peak of 15.4 in 22-23 and declined to 10.5 23-24. However, the decline was not statistically significant. So, daily vaping by ethnicity. In 2023-24, daily vaping prevalence reached 28.8% for Māori and 21.5% for Pacific peoples, respectively. When data was adjusted for age and gender, Māori were 3 times more likely than non-Māori, and Pacific people were over 1.5 times more likely to vape than non-Pacific, non-Māori. Between 2012 and 24, the overall pattern of smoking prevalence has been higher for Māori and Pacific peoples compared to non-Māori, non-Pacific. The absolute increase in vaping prevalence among Māori and Pacific peoples and European has been greater than the absolute reduction in smoking prevalence over this period. Okay. Yeah, please, sorry. Okay, we had this in from when we were doing presentations at school, but I just wondered if anybody had thoughts around this question. Can you legally purchase vape and supply it to someone who's under 18?
Yeah.
No.
Can't.
No.
People don't.
I know they do.
Different head shakes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
People do, but it's illegal, but it's very hard to prove. So, in my role as smoke-free enforcement officer, we go around to vape retailers to ensure they're compliant with the legislation. And, often we talk to them and they say, do you know if people are buying for minors? And they said, oh, yeah. People say things like, oh, my child likes this flavour, but I think I'll get them this one this time. And we say to them, well, they're buying for a minor. You can deny the sale, but, it's not likely that will happen. Actually, one vape retailer said they tried it and they got a lot of abuse. Mm-hmm. So, but it's illegal to do that.
It's in line with the alcohol.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So, vape regulation changes. Yep. Okay, so to try and curb what's happening, especially with youth vaping, the government has put out regulation changes. So the new ones that have come into effect since 18th of December 2024 are that new specialist vape stores must be at least 100 metres from early childhood centres. Currently, they must be at least 300 metres from a school or marae. Penalties have increased for breaking the law. So if a vape retailer sells to a minor under 18, it was a $500 fine, which wasn't sort of doing much, and now it's increased to $2,000. So, and that came into effect December last year, and we've had quite a few infringement fees in that new regime, and quite a lot of feedback from the industry about that, so which was expected. But, all they have to do is ask for ID. So I'll talk about that later on too when we do the CPO slides. But the other thing that's going to happen is that there'll be a ban on vape displays in general vape retailers. So the general vape retailers are like your dairies, supermarkets, garages, bottle stores. And some towns they have them in $2 shops. So general vape retailers sell 3 flavours of vapes only, and at the moment they can display them in the shop. So there's going to be a ban on those displays. They must be put away out of sight, similar to tobacco. And in the specialist vape retailers, they must not be visible from outside the shop. So we're thinking shops will probably put up some sort of screen curtain. Yeah. Or that stuff you can put on windows. Yeah.
They won't be allowed to advertise outside of the shop. So I was just driving down Oxford Street and you see lots of flashing lights and flags and all that. All of that will be gone. So it'll be a plain from the outside, which will be great.
Yeah. Because it looks very appealing to some people, you know, with all the, it's like fridges and that inside and lights.
Discos.
Discos. Yep. Next one, please.
Yes.
Yep. Oh, cool. So in Levin, there are 9 SVRs, specialist vape retailers. 7, as you're probably aware, are in Oxford Street alone, and all are within 1 kilometre of school. So like we said, they can sell any flavour unless it's prohibited. They are R18 stores. No one under 18 are not supposed to enter. So we talked to them about that, about, you know, things to put in place, like you could close the door instead of having it wide open. You could have a door, I think when you're the one down to Dairy 2000 or something like that, they've got like a screen door, but then next time we passed it was wide open. So I was like, okay. Yeah, and like I said before, the new regulations, they must be 100 metres from SCS, but it only applies to new vape stores from the time those rules came in. It doesn't apply to existing ones. Thanks. So as we said, general vape retailers, there's 31 in Levin. They're your dairy, garage, supermarket, bottle stores. They can sell 3 flavours only, menthol, tobacco or mint. So control purchase operations, this is what Te Whatu Ora do to check retailer compliancy. So we go out, we support youth that are under 18, usually Māori and Pacific youth, because they're the ones who seem to be getting sold to easier. And they go into a shop, they don't have any ID on them, and they ask to purchase a vape. And all the vape store retailer has to do is ask them for ID, and they have to be honest and say, we don't have ID, no ID, no sale. We got sales in Levin last year at the start of the year when we done CPOs, but then at the end of the year we didn't, which was a really good sign. Throughout the country we're still getting sales. So, you know, that's one avenue that the young people are getting their vapes from. There's lots of different other avenues that you can imagine, like some parents, siblings, yeah, etc. So we carry out a number of those control purchase operations throughout the Central region and Whanganui.
Online, big pardon. If they do sell to a minor in that controlled situation, do you just give them a warning, or how does that look? Yeah.
We used to go into the shop straight away and interview the person who sold, but the ministry are trying a new way of doing it to save time because we don't have the resources. So now we just go on to the next shop, and the people who sold will get a letter in the mail saying, you know, on this such and such date you sold to a minor, and here's an infringement fee from the Ministry of Health. Yeah. So the other way was very time consuming, and it was just a lot. And, you know, like all the excuses under the sun was like, okay, all you had to do was ask for ID. You know, and when you think about it, it's just a snapshot out of their day. Like we're going in, there's like, 2 minutes out of their day. How many others are going in? So that'll lead on to the complaint form that Joyce will talk about.
Do you want me to speak on this?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So currently me and Julie have been working with your council on this smoke-free sign initiative. So this smoke-free sign initiative has been rolled out to 7 councils within the mid-central region, so that's including the Wanganui, Rangitikei and Ruapehu, and then all the ones around here as well. And so they've been offered signs and stickers free of charge, being funded by Te Whatu Ora. And yeah, so we're currently working with your council on an audit to get these signs implemented in appropriate places. And then also 60 signs are allocated towards marae within your region as well, and then some are going to schools as the leftover bulk. So these signs promote that all smoke-free spaces are also vape-free as by your policy. And it lets communities, because communities often don't realise that smoke-free spaces are also vape-free spaces, and they still continue to vape in these spaces in front of the signs. So that just kind of lets them know. The QR code that's on the sign, and so it's on the screen there, and they are made of ACM. They look like this. They'll be attached to things. The QR codes, they link to local stop smoking services. So Tome is your local stop smoking service, and it also has a QR code to Quitline. So Quitline's actually opened up their services to rangatahi now, and as well as people that want to quit vaping, which is a really awesome step towards getting people to get off the vape. So yeah, once the audit is completed, the signs will be implemented in the priority areas that are outlined in your smoke-free environments policy and your public spaces policy, in conjunction with the findings from the audit and where's best appropriate. And alongside the signs audit, we're also conducting a sunshade audit, so you get a 2 for 1. And it's to evaluate this council's current shade standards in parks and reserves, and it will give insight into future shade developments that will hopefully back funding that will go towards that in the future. It's important we're giving the communities access to shade in order to give the best chance of not developing skin cancer, because as we know, Aotearoa has one of the highest rates of melanoma in the world. So very important work going on in the council. And that moves into our the complaint toolkit, which will be running alongside this implementation of the signs. Are you happy with me? Yeah. Yeah. So the complaint toolkit was actually, it was designed by Te Whatu Ora. It was actually started within the mid-central region as a way for communities, a place to go to make complaints about specialist vape stores as well as general vape stores that aren't following the regulations. So I want to say that Julie did actually start this to kind of combat that, and then the National took that on and created this toolkit for the whole country to use. So it's kind of a central database that people can go to. So what it does is you can click the QR code and you can, it goes on to the website where you can make your complaint, and what you do is you put your region in and obviously the location of the vape store that you're making the complaint about, and it will be sent straight to the enforcement officers so they can deal with that complaint straight away. So it's not going to a national office, then it gets trickled down. It's straight to the source, and so that complaint can be dealt with effectively. So it's just it's opening up avenues for community to have a say and to fight back against the regulation breaking within our vape stores and and tobacco stores as well. So we'll be implementing this in a social media campaign alongside the implementation of the signs, and then continuing that on so that the community is aware of avenues that they can take to have their say. Is that everything?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I just wanted to acknowledge Catherine Manning from Tākiri Mai Tiata and Brett Munro from Te Whatu Ora in the development of the complaint toolkit. Thank you. I know we've got 1 minute. So this is our last slide. These are things that we suggest that people would do. One of the key things is there's no real support for rangatahi to quit vaping. There's some services that help, but there's nothing out there that we're aware of that can help them to quit vaping. Quitline's there, whether that works as an online service for young people, it might. Be interesting to know what their rates in that are actually. Make submissions. Communities make submissions on legislative changes around vaping. Speak to your local MP that was kind of like for communities, things that they could do, because often we get asked, what can we do? Promote knowledge of local stop smoking services at home, and the current council policies in these areas to better inform the community. I think that's us. Thank you.
Thank you both. Really interesting. Have we shared that presentation, or can we share that presentation? Cool. Thank you, because some really interesting data in there in terms of that, and especially with our high numbers in Maori and Pacifica communities, I would imagine our stats are actually probably higher than what you've shown there in some respects. So, yeah, sure.
Sorry. We've been fortunate enough to get research in Mid Central. So, research from Otago University have just confirmed a 3-year project.
Right.
Throughout the country. There's going to be about 18 schools taking part, and 2 schools in Palmerston, 1 in Fielding, have been invited to participate. We've also suggested 2 schools down here, that is Horowhenua College and Waipihu.
Cool.
We've worked with both of those schools. We've suggested them to the researchers as well. So I could send through information on that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
It just staggers me that we've got nearly 40 vape stores in this area. It's just mind-boggling, actually. Anyway, thank you both for that. That was really interesting, and appreciate that. Right. Hi, you're all yours.
Well, kia ora koutou. Thank you. Sorry, just to kind of acknowledge that in the room today we've got a whole lot of knowledge and experience that has been working in the space of community development for a while. So at the last hui, we were asked if we could come and present a bit more around what Sport Manawatu is and has been doing for this past wee while. So you're going to get a 2-for-1 today. You got myself and Ethan, who is our kamahi on the ground, and I just thought I'd run you through a couple of very high level around our organisation, but then start to really just unpack some of the things we've been doing within the district. So yeah, I will try to keep you entertained. Yes. All right. So a couple of slides just around our vision and our purpose as an organisation. But probably more importantly, some of the areas where we focus our priority mahi into. So sector development, building good relationships and authentic relationships is probably the key word we want to be using more, and the opportunity for activities in play, active recreational sport. I'm sure I don't need to tell you, you all that play, active recreational sport might be the vehicles that we use, but the contribution it makes to health, community development, happy and connected communities is all really evident in the community spaces. So we might use those vehicles of play, active recreational sport, but I try not to box us into just that sport space. I want to show you some examples today of how we can think a bit wider in terms of how this contributes to community development. So where we are, Aotearoa is quite wide. We've got almost 27 FTE, which is about 32 people, a lot of part-timers that work for us. Aotearoa is the Taurua District, Horowhenua, Manawatu District Council, Otaki, all part of that in our health space, and Mawhaioia in Palmerston North. And we have kaumahi that live within each of those regions. So we kind of have two key arms that we like to think about with our mahi. We're either in some of the delivery spaces, which can be in our health, our secondary schools and our primary schools. We have kaumahi that do work into those spaces with group organisations. And then we also have an advocacy arm as well, and while that might sit in health, secondary school and primary schools in terms of the systems and funding, we do have some funding that we administer as an organisation ourselves to help activate communities, get people active. And then we also work in the regional sports organisation, the TLAs, in facility spaces, along safe sidelines. So in that more of a physical activity, play activation, recreation, and sport as a general space. Just to note, hey, that's not, sorry, my writing's not so great up on there for you. With the primary school space, healthy active learning is probably one of the significant roles that we have down here in the Horowhenua, which is what Ethan's just transitioned into. The key with that one is it's a partnership between Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, or Health New Zealand, and ourselves through Sport New Zealand. The focus is on our high equity needs schools. So it's not for our schools that are doing well, it's for our whānau and our kids that need more support into them. And using the tool of physical activity to engage kids. There's a really cool report that's just come out that I actually could share with you guys, which talks about the contribution that physical activity can make into attendance rates, into engagement at schools. So there's some really good data and information that's just recently come out from Sport New Zealand, and I can share with you guys on that. So you probably want to hear more about what we've been doing locally. I have popped a wee report, and I wasn't sure how many would have here today, so there's about 10 copies around the top of the table if you do want to have a look. This report is in-depth one. This is the one we've got all the information around who we've been working with, what we've been doing. So the highlights today are just a few of these, but for some more information, grab this one here. Otherwise, we will send it out on email as well for you. Ethan, want to start us off, bud?
Yeah, so just pick a few, do you think?
Yeah,
Go through
highlights.
I see. Yeah, so it's good to get on a bit of a positive buzz. Yeah, as much as there's the challenges within the district, I think we're quite fortunate to be doing pretty positive stuff. We're pretty grateful to be in a positive workspace. But yeah, the first thing we got, that's actually my son. I've put him there because he's probably the driver of how this kind of initiative kind of started. But yeah, we're growing inclusive opportunities through Adapt Horowhenua. So essentially here in the Horowhenua for our kids with, I guess, intellectual and physical disability, the opportunity to get into regular sport or play or active rec is a lot more challenging. And yeah, the bodies of like organisations who support that parafed Special Olympics are more centralised to the bigger areas. So yeah, last year went on a journey and we were able to implement Adapt Horowhenua working with Michelle's gone, but the Living Uniting Parish or the church. And we co-designed, I guess, a program that's trying to give these kids with significant intellectual and physical disability more of a regular opportunity to play. So that really was the highlight of 2024, and the goal was to try, with my job role change and stuff, to ensure that we continue with that. So I don't want to speak too much of it because I've preached on it, but it's been pretty amazing, and I guess we need more people in the community to stand up and want to be involved in that space to make it sustainable. Yeah. Other key highlights probably the leveraging of our funding. So the Tūmanawa Fund essentially is our carrot to try and get the community to buy in and to do things and get people moving. And I think we've got some stats well at the back. Of how where it's gone last year, but some of the amazing kind of initiatives. I guess us supporting the HTC Tri Series. So it's a triathlon series that came in last year. It's Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday. And for many of the kids in the Horowhenua, they'll never get the opportunity to go to the Weetabix Triathlon. It's just the reality with the deprivation, the travel, and all the costs and everything. So us supporting and funding the council to be able to deliver this, yearly, every year, and be there. This happened, I guess, only a month or two ago, where we've invested in that and supported that. So I guess, leveraging that has been pretty positive. Next. The Colombian community, do you want to talk to that, or should I talk to it? Yeah. So I guess, 2024, with a lot of the partners in the community working with the ex-refugee Colombian communities was pretty positive. Our green prescription team did amazing work. I think we had 2 cohorts over the year where they came through the 8-week or 10-week kind of program, and I was fortunate enough to get in there, be playing tennis with them, table tennis. We introduced them to a lot of the, things they can do, and just the spirit and community, a sense of belonging that we kind of developed with them last year was a real highlight. And even to the point for me, when I'm going on my own active recreation down Queen Street East and seeing the Colombians out there moving themselves and knowing where to go, and it was pretty positive. And they're amazing, spirited, culture, the Colombians. If you bump into them, I heavily recommend, getting to know them. They're so positive, so cool. So, that was a highlight last year.
I think in that one too, just to add this, in the report here, there's some really good feedback that we gathered from the group as well, and the ongoing physical activity that they decided to pick up as a result of the 8 weeks was really positive, and quite a high engagement rate in physical activity after that. Probably the key thing in here is that it's co-designed alongside the roku, so we get together with them and figure out what is actually their aspirations in physical activity, but also community connection, using getting them to know the space that they've recently moved to. Helping us to get across the line with that has definitely been our partners as well. So when the groups bring up some of the health aspirations they might need conversations and talks with other groups. So we've had Te Whatu Ora in this space, our Health Foundation whānau, Diabetes Trust, Mua Pōpō, Massey University. Massey University. So and the National Bowel Screening team as well. So without them being able to come into the space as well and support, it wouldn't have been such a success for the crew here, and then builds that connection for them to the services locally going forward. So huge mihi to them.
Volleyball access. So this was a bit of a long journey. It's, again, another great partnership where the Kiribati community came into the council and was, wanting to celebrate the Kiribati culture and events, and within that came the conversation that the rangatahi teenagers weren't able to play volleyball. They'd lost, the accessibility and the space, and the cost had become too much at the event centre. So within that end of 2023, start of 2024, we managed to go through this journey, and essentially the Tūmanawa Fund supported them to get, the resources they needed. And I used my, nous in the community to plug one of the high schools and ask them that they'd support the group. And it's really tuned into every Saturday, the Kiribati teenagers are there playing volleyball every week, getting that opportunity to, develop, but also just get their own, community more connected more regularly. So it was a real highlight, because the Tūmanawa Fund can sometimes, the essence or where you're going with it can be hard, but it was very clear where that funding was going, and it was going to make it, we only had to fund the project once, and it would make it sustainable. So great for volleyball in the Horowhenua too, because we've got a lot of people who want to play it, but we just don't have an affiliated club, but it's an aspiration. So that was really positive. Play trailer, Mark's favourite. So the play trailer, we really want to pump out our own tyres, because ultimately, without Sport Manawa 2 coming in and really, funding, hunting, and ensuring that the play trailer could come to some fruition, I think we played a significant role, and it's led to now the play trailer's there, free, accessible, it's got gear in it, people, so again, it's that's where our funding, and that's what Sport Manawa 2 should be doing. But it has been a highlight, and in 2024 really seen it come out, and I'm hoping in 2025 you see it at more events. It can be anything. It's really spreading the word and ensuring the community know that they can utilise it. It's for everyone, and really the essence of play, organic play.
So I thought I'd pop up, and we can kind of see it, just the allocation that's been made to the rohe from the Tūmanawa funding. In 2024, we also were really lucky to be able to partner well with the Iwi Māori Partnership Board and develop and deliver a new funding stream, which was around activating Māori. So that was Te Oraga Tautama funding. So for 2024, we managed to get out just shy of $15,000 to the region specifically. Down the bottom, you'll notice $140,000 as well. Those were for organisations that delivered across a number of regions. So I just wanted to break out what was specific to organisations that live and breathe here in Horowhenua as opposed to those that contribute and may come down here but are based potentially in Palmerston North. So yeah, while it's only $30,000 through He Oranga Potama, it is quite a small fund at the moment. There was an opportunity for us because it was so oversubscribed. We allocated $30,000 from He Oranga Potama, but we're able to bring across another $20,000 from Tūmanua to help support kaupapa that came through there as well. So a nice kind of wide range of groups that are being supported through this space. This Friday actually, sorry, a couple of days, we're having a sharing evening for the groups that were funded through He Oranga Potama. Just an opportunity for them to be able to share with each other their journey and the impact that the funding's made for their hapori. They're often not your big mainstream groups, they are our small hapu marae groups. And we did our one over in Tararua last week. Really amazing stories coming through around the impact that $10,000 can make with a marae, a hapu iwi group. So yeah, we will look forward to hopefully presenting back some of the videos that come from the Horowhenua district in the next few weeks. Kapai.
Future.
Yeah, so like I said, there's more sitting in this report here if you do want to have a read of it. Any questions on it, you are more than welcome to reach out to myself or to Ethan. And probably we're thinking ahead in that future collaboration space as well. The Community Wellbeing Strategy Committee is a key partner for being able to talk around what collaborations we can be doing going forward. I think when we start to look at, again, we do have the name sport for sure, but thinking wider than that, thinking out of the box, we've seen some really beautiful projects happen where to help local iwi aspirations might activate a place of significance and have some storytelling along the way that helps support the iwi and transmitting their pūrākau, their narratives, as well as kids engaging and whānau being active. So there's opportunities to be able to do things like that if that's the aspiration of the community. So it's not just your sports space, but it could be leveraging some resources to get volleyball going for certain communities. Our priorities definitely are in our tamariki o rangatahi space. Our health contracts support us into the adult space, but our focus with community development really is into that 5 to 18 age bracket, which we kind of hold quite close to what we're doing. Community connector. So I think when we've been thinking about what's happened over this past year, the key thing for us has been having that community connector in space. We have a healthy active learning advisor role and a community connector role. The headway and local connection, collaborations, and just knowing who's who in spaces has been the kind of key thing to get a lot of this work across the line. So acknowledging our friend here, but also the support from council by having him housed here as well has just been really helpful for us to be able to connect in with the wider community development team and the mahi that's happening in the region. Looking ahead, so like everybody, I'm sure we're all feeling the squeeze of reduced funding in different places. So we are needing to look at resourcing the community connector in another way. So that's probably one of the key things that I'm pushing and working towards for the first half of this year is to try and find more money so we can continue that position. But aside from that, we do have other kaimaki supporting. So we definitely have the Tomokanga group that we are wanting to support with that healthy active learning space, as well as myself. Shannon is a priority really for us this year. I think it was great seeing the statistics come through around the numbers, because that is the priority communities that we're looking at as the 5 to 18, and the high numbers in the Shannon community align well with that. We have a school that we're working with there. We have a neighbourhood play system project that's in the space, so we're wanting to increase that, which would mean hopefully more of our kaimaki spending more time, and then resourcing coming externally to the community. Adaptable and Federal is still going ahead this year.
Yeah, that's going to be resilient
approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I think that comes down, that will still be our whānau supporting. We do have a few of our kaumāhi sitting on the subcommittees as well with the rangatahi access and inclusion, so just trying to make sure that our staff are getting out of Harness North and being present and hearing what's going on here and including it in their work programs going forward. Yeah, that's probably us, whānau. Any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thanks, Kylie. Thanks, Ethan. And look, it's fantastic to see things like this reported back to us because we often don't know the vast array of different activities that you're providing our community. And just little things like that Kiribati volleyball stuff. I mean, the difference that you're making in that space is incredible. And yeah, just acknowledge the work on the ground that you're doing, Ethan, but also the support of the whole organisation in terms of being able to do that. And the amount of money, I didn't realise that sort of amount of money was actually coming back to within our community. So we need to spread that far and wide, probably amongst my fellow councillors, so they understand, there is quite a bit of support and funding coming back into the community. But yeah, thank you for that. It was really cool. Are there any questions? Or I'm very conscious that I try to finish these by 11:30. And there's about 3 minutes to go. Is there anything that anybody would like to raise quickly or bring to our attention that you think we should know about, or you're all happy in your work and carry on? Cool. Look, thank you all for your attendance, much appreciated. There is a lot going on, and I know reports sometimes can be a bit ho-hum, but look, it's very valuable information in a wider network like this. Thanks to those that are online, if they are still there. Just noting that our next meeting is Wednesday the 21st of May, so we'd look forward to seeing you then. And just a thank you and acknowledgement for the team and behind who've provided all the information and data and stuff. Keep up the great work. Thank you. And if we could finish with our karakia, which is again on the bottom of page 3. No, it's not. That's our starting one. Where's our end one? There we go. Here we go. Kia whakaarea te tapu, kia wātia ai te nara, kia tūriki whakataha ai, kia tūriki whakataha ai, haumi ai hui ai taua kia ai. Enjoy what's left of daylight saving and the summer, and look after water is my message at the moment. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.